And we are back for some more across all arenas. I'm Ryan, and that's Andre. What up, brother?
What up,
How you
man?
been?
I just, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I need coffee. I need coffee to. I worked the 3 a.m. shift this week, so with my boy over here. So,
Yeah, but I look refreshed. I
you
took a
know,
nap. No.
I just got home. All these Vegas drivers are stupid. So,
You know what? They don't know how to drive here. They really don't. But anyways, what are we gonna talk about today, Andre? Oh wait, I know. Let's talk about all these Caleb haters. As a Chicago Bears fan, yes, it's preseason, but you got to put a little respect on his name, man. I mean, this past Sunday, Ben Johnson, the new head coach of the Chicago Bears, mentioned that he will start the starters last Sunday. And so, the starters pretty much played maybe two drives, if I can remember, and the rest were all, second string and some players looking to get spots. So obviously, the talk around town was Caleb Williams and the starters, and seeing what the new Bears offense is going to look. Is it going to be a repeat of last year and how all the Bears fans were, excited to see a capable, or at the time a a generational talent that we've been told upon about Caleb Williams with a shitty ass coaching staff, and so we all know how that turned out. But fast forward a year later, we finally have a competent um, head coach in Ben Johnson. So, we get to see last Sunday, we got to see the first look of what potentially the offense could look like with Ben Johnson helming the ship with Caleb at QB. So, initial reaction, man, was awesome. I mean, granted, it is preseason, right? No one gives a shit about preseason football, but the Ben Johnson was alluding. What does Caleb need more? Reps, and more reps, and he's getting that in preseason. So his first drive, excellent. Ended up in a with a touchdown with Zacchaeus for a I think it was a
it's
like
nine,
a
well, 36 yards, 36-yard
36-yard
pass.
touchdown right through the middle, a dart to Zacchaeus, and then Zacchaeus did the rest. But even before that, like his first pass was a screen pass to our new tight end, Colson Loveland, which honestly, man, I think it could have this could be a right move to picking him over Tylen Warren. I think it's
I know.
more of a
I was about to say. I know. I remember you saying you didn't like the pick at first, but what I know how you feel about. I know how you feel about Caleb. That's your boy. Beard now. You know what I'm saying. But Colson Loveland, I've heard. I didn't watch the game because bang bang Niner gang. Um, but yeah, I remember you saying when we did the draft episode, or no, when we previewed the draft, or when we were
I think we talked. I think it was the draft when we talked about the draft. I
Yeah,
believe so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I remember you saying you wanted Tyler Warren instead of Colson Loveland because Tyler Warren was going to be the better fit. But after seeing Loveland as your new tight end, well, your rookie tight end, like what were your
It, it
initial
definitely
thoughts?
it definitely changed my mind, and you know what? I will. Ben Johnson. He he knows his football, so whatever he feels is the best fit for his system, I'm gonna roll with, man. And the comparison when they did draft him was, he runs an offense with two tight ends, right? So he wanted to find his own Sam Laporta, right? and look at what Sam Laporta has done with the Detroit Lions and Ben Johnson as the OC
Sure.
last 2 years for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, right? So, obviously his offense and what was in the Lions and what is now at the Bears, there's going to be similarities, and but it's what he said, it's personnel. The personnel is going to be a little bit different. There's going to be similar styles, but I mean, we can talk all day long about the similarities or the difference between Caleb Williams and Jared Goff, right? And, I think everyone's going to say that Caleb is probably the one that has more talent when it comes to maybe even the arm, rushing abilities, with their feet. So, it's night and day, right? But the difference that I'm seeing now is that we actually have a coach that is going to coach. And we haven't had that in a very long time, especially in the Bears organization. I think, the last time that we actually even had, I mean, Matt Nagy years, that could have been something like, especially his first year, and that was the double doink year, and then after that, it kind of fell apart.
Right.
But when we had Lovey Smith, that was probably the only time that through, and that was more than just 1 year. That was several of years of where we actually had good coaching with Lovey, and we had a great defense.
Sure.
Still didn't really have offense until kind of now, where we actually have an offensive minded coach. So there's going to be a difference from now and then, and we have Dennis Allen as our DC, great defensive minded coach. So that we have everything, we have all the pieces. It's just now let's put it all together into regular season form. Preseason was an appetizer. Like, Caleb threw he completed 6 out of 10 passes, went for 107 yards, and that is very telling because, and mind you, he had 0 rushing attempts. Now that's the one thing that I wanted to point out, because remember last year, and even if you want to even talk about Justin Fields when he was our QB, what did they do all the time? They were fucking running for their
They
lives.
rushed them. Yeah.
And because we didn't have a O line for all these years, and so, and mind you, Joe Tooney, the
Oh,
he
that's
wasn't
right.
playing. He wasn't even playing on Sunday. So imagine, you know, when he plays week one and in the regular season, how good can our O line actually really be? And so, it's sky's the limit, right? And it's very promising to see Caleb, especially. And honestly, like, I just watched like his the first drive, because that's all I really wanted to check. And then, here and there I was watching the game at the end, and it ended up being 38-0. But that
Right.
was Tyson Bagent and all the other third stringers or whatever. But Caleb's drive was very promising. Like, he wasn't holding the ball too long. He was moving his feet. He was doing the 1-2 release. He didn't hold the ball for more than like 3 seconds, which is very promising. And that just also tells you that the O line is actually doing their fucking job.
Well, it sounds like the O line, one, that yeah, the O line's doing their job, but two, it seems like, or it sounds like, I mean, like what you alluded to earlier, right? Like you have Ben Johnson, who was the OC of the Lions, and they made it to the Super Bowl, not that long ago, and oh no, sorry, they made it to
The NFC
the
Championship.
NFC Championship, not that, just this past season, right?
Yeah,
So, we've seen what Ben can do in Detroit, and we're just done with Jerry Goff, right? When that trade first happened, it's like, oh, well, what's Jerry gonna do? And then we saw what he did, and
yeah,
you alluded to Sam Laporta and what he's doing with Loveland. as a rookie tight end, and it sounds like how he's drawing up this offense. Like I said, I haven't watched any of that game, right? Because I looked at the score, I was like, no, there's no point
Yeah,
watching the game,
especially
right?
for the second half. It was like there's
Right.
nothing.
But it does sound like that, there is some promise with Ben Johnson and,
For sure.
and, with Caleb Williams, not having to scramble out the pocket or having to rush, out of the pocket and, try to gain yards just to gain yards, right? It,
Yeah,
it seems
he
like,
doesn't have to use his feet, to
right.
create plays. He's
It
using his
sounds like
arm.
he's, and it also sounds like he's, the way the offense is set up now, this well, what could be this season, how the offense is drawn up, it sounds like Ben is allowing Caleb to make his reads easier.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
plays are more simplified than what they were before.
yeah. No, that's a great point because if you look at his rookie season, not only did he, I obviously college football and NFL, you're dealing with different talent, right? In college, you could be, the generational talent, and you can be this 10 and everybody else is like fives. But when you are in the NFL, you're dealing with tens as well on
Right.
every position. So you have to, it just takes it up. You have to take it up a notch. And, he didn't have to use his feet like last year. And you're right. It seemed like he knew how to read the defense a lot better, but I also think it's because of Ben Johnson having to simplify it and be like, "Oh wait, do this instead of that."
Yeah.
And again, he's not holding like the out of all the passes that he threw, he didn't hold the ball for more than 2 seconds.
Right.
And when he did throw the ball, they were completed. And he was also very accurate. Like he threw that one. I was very impressed with his second throw. It was either his second or third throw, right down the middle, on the 50-yard line. A fucking dart, dude, a dart. And it was as a Bears fan, I was very surprised. Not really even surprised, but just like I just hope that this continues on. They are going to play this Friday. They're going to start their starters, and then obviously that's it. I think, right? Yeah. There's only one more preseason game.
Yeah, I think there's one more.
Um, so other than that, man, like my takeaway is that the sky's the limit for this offense with Ben and Caleb. And as long as it and the defense as well, like if they can prove to everybody that they're not just the Bears every year, they can actually hang with the likes of the 49ers, the likes of,
Watch out, dog. Don't get into that territory. Come on,
what I'm
man.
just saying, what I'm saying is that we want to be seen as a competitive team because we haven't been that for a very long time.
Sure.
It's always been bad news bears or
Right.
blah blah blah, this or that, the narrative. And what pisses me off about, the media, the national media, is that they don't give this team credit. Like they actually did a pretty good job, like creating a good team. Now at this point, it's just to execute it. If they execute everything that they're doing in the offseason, the training camp, these preseason games, why can't Caleb be, you know, like how Jaden Daniels was last year, right? Jaden Daniels got a little bit of a head start because he actually had what? Good coaching. Good coaching, bad coaching is what held Caleb Williams back. And, it's it's going to be more sweeter for Caleb if things turn around. And I don't see Jaden Daniels falling anytime soon. I mean, I watch that Monday night game. Like he's he's still running, scoring touchdowns and shit like that. But other than that, I do have I don't want to get too excited, but it's hard to not be excited this time, this second time around, with Caleb as our QB. But yeah, that's my thoughts of how I feel about what I saw last Sunday and in my feelings about the season moving forward. So let's just see what happens. Bear down, baby.
Bear down.